Welcome to Elevate Springfield, where we will dive into strategies and stories that help you rise to your full potential. Each episode, we'll talk about how you can take intentional steps to elevate your life and your business while making a meaningful impact on those around you. Along the way, we're going to bring in the change makers from our community that are already elevating. We'll bring the actionable strategies, you bring the discipline and follow through, and together we can elevate Springfield.
All right, let's go, Springfield. Time to 10x your life, your business, all of it. Time to crush those goals. Time to get after it. Let's go. You are listening to the Elevate Springfield podcast. Robert Farrell here, certified 10X coach, speaker, and mentor, here to bring you actionable strategies. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together we're going to elevate Springfield. We're coming to you again from beautiful downtown Springfield in the Big Dog Construction Studio. Hey, we've got so much going on in Springfield right now. Make sure you are participating. Get out there, network with folks, be a part of the community, support local businesses, support local nonprofits, and let's go. We can all grow together. So, hey, another great episode for you today. We're going to get right to our guest after the break. Hey, Springfield, when it comes to reliable, high-quality roofing, you don't want to leave things to chance. That's why you should reach out to Acosta Angeli Roofing, your local roofing experts serving Springfield and surrounding communities. From quick, dependable repairs to full replacement, from residential to commercial, they are your trusted pros. Call them today at 217-993-2748 or visit their website to book your free quote and inspection. Don't wait. A little leak now could lead to major damage later. Trust the local experts, protect your home, and get peace of mind with Acosta Angeli Roofing. All right, and we are back. Joining me in the studio now, Mr. Keith Kinney from 217 Nuisance Wildlife Control. Keith, how you doing today, man?
Doing great, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you coming downtown Springfield here. Snow's finally starting to melt off a little bit. It's looking a little nasty out there, but it'll be good once it's all gone, I guess.
Man, I'm ready for some warmer temps.
No doubt about that. My hands are ready for it, too. They are cracking like crazy.
Yes, me too.
Well, we're going to talk about the business, but before we do that, let's learn a little bit about you, man. Tell us about your background.
Well, so it's this side of the business side of it's pretty short, honestly. I retired in 2021, December 31st. So January of 22, I started this business. My uncle George was Wildlife Removal, had it first. And funny enough, he got me into deer hunting when I was probably 14 years old. And I got him into trapping. And by trapping, I don't mean nuisance trapping. I mean like creek and woods trapping.
Sure.
I was 15, and I remember specifically because I couldn't drive. So I call him one day and ask him, it was freezing cold like today, and ask if he'd give me a ride to help me run my trap line. And he just thought that was the most ridiculous hobby that any person could possibly have. But he stepped up and took me out to the creek, and I said, you can just wait in the car since you're not interested. No, I'll tag along with you. So from that moment, he was hooked. So my uncle was a retired Teamster. They're very particular on what you can do, I guess, after you retire from their union. So he calls me one day out of the blue and he's like, hey, have you ever heard of nuisance wildlife control? And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he kind of leads me into how people get raccoons in their attics. And mind you, we're more from a rural setting. I grew up in Menard County, so people kind of do their own thing out there, I guess. More of a farm area community. But he proceeds to tell me how it's more of a urban Springfield, the larger metropolitan areas, and people get these problems in their crawl spaces and attics. And I'm like, I think you should try it. So he does. He stays very low key with it, doesn't really advertise or do anything special. And he's busy. He tells me how busy he is. We all have that uncle that tells the fish stories. So right. I'm thinking, yeah, he's probably just blowing smoke to me. But I'll never forget, he tells me, you can be as busy as you want. If you answer your phone, the work's there. I was thinking, this is crazy to me. Like, I never heard of a person that had a problem with an animal in their house before. So I bought some of his equipment. I retired from state and federal government. I bought some of his equipment and started the business. My wife thought I was crazy, but I did 32 years with working full time, shift work, weekends, and I think she thought maybe I was just going to take a break for a second, but that's not me.
Not going to happen.
No,
Right.
I need to be busy. So yeah, man, like I said, I bought some equipment. They probably could have caught me at the farm store any day of the week buying the cheap, inexpensive traps because I'll be honest, I didn't really know the ins and outs of it. But I met some great people through networking. Daryl Drennan, if Daryl, I'm going to send this to you. So, buddy, you're a legend in my mind. He's helped me so much. Anytime I have had a question that I didn't really understand, and even as such as recently, we had a skunk issue, and man, I could not get these skunks to take the bait, and he gave me his secret. I'm not allowed to share, by the way. And by gosh, the next morning, 3 skunks.
Got him.
It was crazy. Yes. So that's kind of how it started. I decided after about 6 months that I wanted to grow the business, and I have a part-time guy, Ryan. I couldn't do things without him. He's wonderful. He works a full-time job and then helps me when he gets off.
Mm-hmm.
And then my son, Colby, him and I went and did some training for soffit repair. Not taken away from Big Dog or anybody else because I can't touch their skills. But we just do very small stuff, and I'd like to tell my customers if it's in our wheelhouse, we'll tackle it. If not, then thanks to this group and you and so many others, Jeff, I have people I can kick out there and get the job done.
Absolutely. So you said you retired from state and federal government. What'd you do in there?
So I started my career in the Illinois Department of Corrections and actually ended my career there, but I had a wonderful opportunity in between. So in 1991, I started at the prison up in Lincoln, Logan Correctional Center. Was there from 91 until 03. Left for the parole division of the Department of Corrections. About 2010, one of the deputy chiefs took a liking how I did my job and asked me if I'd be interested in doing fugitive apprehension. So basically, when you come out on the parole, it's like probation. Probation's misdemeanors. Generally, parole is felonies. If you mess that up, then the department will issue a warrant. They would send me out to find them, attempt to locate. Once you get into that side of things, the United States Marshal Service picks you up and you become special deputized. So for the last, since about 2010, 11, till I retired, I was with the Marshals.
That's awesome.
Dude, I stayed an extra 2 years. I love my career. At that point, people would be like, why do you want to do this? I said, where else can you drive 100 miles an hour down Jefferson?
Right.
Jump out and chase somebody through a parking lot. And I don't know. I don't jump out of planes. I have whitewater rafted, but that was my adrenaline rush. And it was every day. So, yeah.
That's so cool. When you think of marshals, that's exactly what you think of, too. That high adrenaline. I mean, because I guess if you're not in it and you don't know people that are a part of it, when you see it on movies and stuff like that, the marshals are the dudes that come in and they're really getting out doing stuff like that.
Jump out boys.
Right.
We had a lot of different nicknames for our teams. But unfortunately, what is a little different than you see on TV, like we didn't get to jump on a plane and go to Puerto Rico or Colorado. You just send a lead, which kind of boring, but hey, as long as you get your man in custody, right?
That's right.
So
did you always know you wanted to be in law enforcement to some degree, or when did that come about?
I did. I love policing. I love police officers at even a young age. I remember saying that's what I wanted to do. I went to Lincoln Land Community College back then, and this is what's so different now. My son's actually in the academy right now for Springfield Police Department. And when he went to test, there was about 70 people there. I tested for Bloomington, Peoria, St. Louis, Springfield. Gosh, I feel like there's a couple more in there. Now, this is back in the mid-90s. There'd be nothing to be 1,000 to 1,500 people. And that just kind of shows you where policing's at today. It's really not
That is a massive change.
Huge. Yes, huge. And so as an example, to back up, I never got the call. I was really close. I was top 10 in St. Louis's department, actually on their obstacle course, and blew my knee out while running their course. They were great. I mean, they offered me another opportunity in 6 weeks. Clearly, I wasn't ready for that. My mom always said, things always happen for a reason. And I believe that to be true. Like what I did for the Marshal Service and for the Department of Corrections was, I have to assume anyway, above and beyond, pulling patrol all
Yeah,
the rest
no
of
doubt
my
about
life.
it.
And St. Louis would have been great. We're Cardinal fans and love the city, but I was blessed for sure. And then this, so we joke, I went from chasing two-legged bad people to four-legged bad animals. Basically.
I was just about to throw something out there like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's honest to God, almost the same feeling if you're going to peek up into an attic and you're, popping that door open. It brings back maybe some PTSD even. We would typically run our phones up there first, and see if we could see a hump in the insulation or whatnot. Same thing, you got a crazy raccoon sitting there ready to jump on your head or something.
Right.
But
what are you most proud of in your long career in law enforcement?
Couple things actually. So I was a part of, this was even prior to Fugitive App. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a gentleman that was going to blow up the federal courthouse. I actually assisted in that arrest, and that apprehension. Was able to get the undercover guys into his apartment. We found some stuff that led us to believe that he was with ISIS and bad actors.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got the call that day that they had him set up out here just down the street, and he's driving away, pushing the button that was supposed to be explosives to blow that building to pieces on another vehicle they left there. And the whole time he's with an FBI undercover.
Okay.
So yeah, that was really cool. I actually got to go to the FBI and got an award. And just to helping people, that's kind of where this business is for me. I like to help, and my family and my coworker, they kind of get on me, which should generally take a 5-minute phone call. I might be on the phone for 45 minutes,
right?
Because it leads into, well, my gutter's sagging. Do you know anybody? Or, I need some landscape work done, or my driveway's falling apart. I need some concrete. So again, that just completely falls back onto the Land of Lincoln.
Yeah, Land of Lincoln. Just start referring them out. Absolutely.
100%. I would say this. So my son and I went out to Ohio to learn this soffit build out for these specific animals. And I met a guy out there that he tells a great story. I'm not going to bore everybody with it, but if I was younger and was starting this, I would follow his footsteps and his footprint, if you will. We went out to dinner. He hosted this class that we took. It was 2 days, and just talking to the gentleman, I said, so how did you get into this, And he's telling me at this point, he has 2 different locations in Ohio, Central and Eastern, and each truck generates him about $1 million annually. So I couldn't grasp that. And I said, how? Well, it's just like we were talking. So when he first started, he would go to these houses and people would say, hey, a good fence guy? Or, hey, do you know a good HVAC guy? So his wheels got to turning. Him and his brother owned the business. And they said, why are we subbing this out? Let's hire our own.
Right.
So they have HVAC, landscapers, concrete, snow pushers, lawn mowers, pretty much any trade that you can think of that would be required to help someone at their house, he has under his shop.
Right.
So they'll just send out their crew. And not only does he maybe get a raccoon out of an attic, but then they do complete attic restoration, which Eileen DePeerless, from our group. I thought this guy's a genius. No wonder he's where he is today.
You're killing it.
Yes, killing it. Absolutely. But I'm 54, about to be 55, and I have the drive, but I don't have that much time.
Right.
It would take, I feel like, a little while to, and just speaking bluntly and honestly, it's hard to find good people.
Oh yeah, especially if you're trying to do it in all those different trades like that. That'd be a heavy lift.
Absolutely. And again, back to this. I mean, so far the guys that I've met, I've yet to refer somebody and went back to a customer and had him say, man, those guys you referred were terrible.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. So I like that because I always tell my customers, anyone I send to your house, I would invite over for Thanksgiving, or I would invite over for Christmas, or I would have for dinner. I don't surround myself with not successful people. I've seen what can happen. You end up being chased by the U.S. Marshal Service or the police. And I met a lot of people with a lot of good in their heart, I feel, in their soul, and great minds, but they just don't use it for the right reasons.
Right.
Which is, and I'm sure you know the same characters.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Yeah, no, it's critical to have yourself surrounded by the right people, right? We talk about that all the time.
Yes.
And Land of Lincoln has been great with that. We've been able to surround ourselves with some great other businesses.
I agree. I can't even really remember. I think I was just surfing the web one night, surfing Facebook, and saw Jeff's little ad he was promoting. Just immediately thought, man, this would be great for my business. So reached out, and man, here we are. I don't even know how many months it's been.
Yeah, I mean, not even a full year in yet. And
Is it May, I think, or April?
It officially started in January, February, but it really started getting pushed out in a couple months after that.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, absolutely. So you said you've been hunting since you were like 14 or something. What's the biggest deer you ever got?
We're very picky. I will say I hunted in, Pike County, God's country, Pike County.
Sure.
And I have one wall hanger in 25 years of hunting down there. It goes about 185 on the measuring scale. It's 13 points. Kind of a funny story. I literally went in on that Friday morning, took off work, drove down, and I think I was in the stand 7 minutes. And he walked out, and that was it. I was like, wow, why can't it be that easy every year?
Right, exactly.
So my son, actually, he's a hard charger. He has 2 wall hangers from the same property, but I didn't archery hunt for a long time. I got into waterfowling. You can eat breakfast out there in the blind, and you can talk to your buddies, whereas it's a good trade-off. I've since kind of walked away from waterfowling a little bit and back to archery, and I forgot what it's like to sit out there alone in nature, just watching the hawks fly through the timber and the owls, hooting, if you will. It's very peaceful, and being a business owner, you need that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, my older daughter, she just got into archery within the last about year and a half or so. Not necessarily for hunting, but she just wanted to learn archery. So she goes to school for it here in town. She has a coach there, goes every week and shoots, and she's learning. She goes over to Rigney's School of Archery.
Okay.
So on the south end of town. She's really enjoying it. I don't know if she'll ever use it for hunting or not, but she's really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, she would have the opportunity to shoot for the state title, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My son did that. He scored 10th in the high school association his freshman year.
Nice.
But then I felt like the coach it was a lot of pressure. Well, if you're shooting, 10th as a freshman, you should be number 1 as a senior.
Right.
And honestly, he got worse as time went.
And that happens.
But no, a lot of concentration. Good for her.
Yeah. She's been loving it. So she hasn't done like any really competitions yet, but I think she'll get into that at some point.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
What kind of stuff have you trapped over the years? Not professionally caught, but what are some trapping that you've done over the years?
Oh gosh, mink, muskrats, possums, skunks, raccoons. It's pretty much the same. I've had a couple mink calls, and funny enough, one of them was a retired chemistry teacher out in just south of Pleasant Plains, and he called me. It was killing his chickens, this mink, and he actually went face to face, did battle with this mink. He had an old baseball bat, and I don't know what he was thinking. He's probably into his 60s and a pretty large man. He was actually from Oregon, the state of Oregon. And he said, Keith, I didn't know how fast they were.
Right.
He said, I think it was like whack-a-mole. I swung 3 times, missed every time. I felt like he shook his head at me and then ran out the chicken house. I said, okay. So I explained to him what I thought he needed to do or what we could do for him. And he's like, no. He goes, I just want you to consult me. This is personal. I want this guy. I said,
this is my mink. I'm getting it.
By gosh, you know what? He did. It took him about 4 days, and I think he ended up losing 2 or 3 more chickens. But he was pumped to the point they sent me like 2 gift cards. If any of the people out there or you follow my Facebook page, like, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody gives me cookies or somebody gives me a note or sends me something a little extra in the mail, like just to say thank you for everything you did for us, like, that's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. Sure, I do charge. Obviously, it's not a free.
Yeah, it's a business. Need to make money, of course.
Exactly. But yeah, those little extra things, which has kind of led me to do that. I wasn't really a big Google review guy, but I've become one. I'm becoming one. I feel now that I see how that helps businesses.
Yeah, that can be big for a business, having
sure.
those out there. No doubt about it.
Yeah. I just don't think the general public thinks about that stuff a lot of times. Or you're quick to jump on when you want to slam somebody.
Right.
But when you want to praise them, you don't necessarily think about it so much.
It is funny how that works. You have a tremendous experience or have just a good experience.
Yes.
It's not the first thing to pop into your mind to go leave a review, but if you have a terrible experience, for a lot of people, the first thing they think of is, well, I'm going to go.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go drop this on here.
Yes.
So.
One of the cooler stories, my nephew called me one day and didn't trap it. It trapped itself in a barbed wire fence. It was a young deer, and he had tried to cross, and he got his back leg hung up in there, and it wasn't too far from where I lived at the time, out in Menard County. So I respond over there, and my nephew's there. He's like, "How are we gonna do this? Because when a deer, that's a big animal." So I snuck up behind it. He kind of kept its attention to the front and were able to grab a hold of its leg. We did have to take its nail off with a knife to get him free. It ran maybe 20, 30 yards, stopped, turned around, and almost gave you that nod like to thank you. And I've had that experience with dogs before too, not on the nuisance side, but when I was trapping as a younger guy, I did catch somebody's dog in a foothold trap. And again, being, 16 years old and kind of not knowing everything about, I didn't have a catch pole. And I remember my uncle telling me, my other uncle, hey, just take your coat off and put it over him. It'll calm him down and you can kind of work as you need to. And so I did that. And, that dog followed me the rest of the day. Like we were best friends. And then it ended up being a neighbor's dog on the farm I was trapping. And every time he'd hear my truck, he would come when I'd go run that trap line.
Yeah.
He'd just tag along with me. Like we became friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Kind of cool.
Yeah. Sure. So outside of the rural stuff, so maybe say in Springfield, say you're in just a random Springfield subdivision, what are some of the wildlife that you're catching at somebody's house?
Raccoons and groundhogs are our two biggest. Groundhogs, of course, burrow underground. They do climb. A lot of people don't know that. They can climb trees, fences, but they're like a lot of animals. They're lazy. They just soon go under a fence, just have to climb over a fence. And then the raccoon population in this area has exploded 400% over the last 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. And because no one traps. I used to trap as a youngster out in the rural area. We had a fur buyer that would come through once a month, and then we would take him the furs and sell them. Just kind of like back in the frontier days, if you will.
Yeah. And
back then, it was a little lucrative for the 87-cent gas a gallon. We used to pay. $20 to $30 per coon. A fox would bring you $75 to $100 for their pelts. That's a thing of the past. It's not there, and it shows. So not only do we get the population explosion, but we get more disease. I think we had 12 calls this last year for distemper in the raccoon population. I don't know of any rabies calls for Sangamon and Menard, surrounding counties here, but it does happen. And I don't think a lot of times people realize how dangerous that is. Bats and skunks are the two largest carriers in Illinois. Scratch, bitten, or their saliva would get into a cut. It can live dormant in your body for up to 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And kill you on that 9th year, 364th day.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I tell them, I preach to my customers, especially those with young children, you know what? If you're not sure, just take the proactive approach, get the rabies vaccine started. They don't give it to you in your stomach anymore. That's kind of old school stuff. Ryan, who helps me, he was bitten prior to working for me by a raccoon, and he had to get the rabies vaccine. Now, back then, that was probably, I think he said 10, 15 years ago, they were giving it to in the bite, the injection in the bite wound. He said it was pretty painful.
I bet it was.
But a little pain or a lot of death.
Right, exactly.
I guess you kind of have to pick your battles. But yeah, in the Springfield area, raccoons and groundhogs would be 1 and 2. We get quite a few squirrel calls, the bat calls. Bats are federally protected. A lot of people don't realize that. So there's a season for bats. Everything has guidelines from, like, bats are guideline from IDPH. So bat season it's closed currently because they can't survive outside. I hate telling people this, but I had 5 calls last week for bats in attics, and it's hard for me to tell someone that, well, you're living with them till March.
Yeah, I had no idea that they were protected.
Yeah, March till May, and then they'll have their pups, and then it opens back up in August till October 30th, closes again until the following March. So if you call me November 1st or 2nd, you just missed the window.
Mm-hmm.
And it is crazy to say, well, if you have a colony of 200 bats in your attic, you're living with them.
Living with them for a few months. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So my best advice is then or we can come over and help. Pipe chases, can lighting. A bat needs a hole basically the size between a dime and a quarter. Bats don't chew and bats don't scratch, so there has to be a pre-existing hole. We like to say, think of it as a mouse with wings other than the scratching and the clawing. So even a piece of tape over a small hole that could be protruding down between the attic and the living space. Now, if you do get one in your living space, I recommend if it's during the daytime hours, since everybody pays taxes, call animal control. They'll come out and do their best to find it and then remove it. If it's after hours or if animal control strikes out, we use thermal imaging. So we'll come in with our thermal stuff and we can find anything with a heat source at that point. I had a 7,000 square foot house at Lake Springfield that had a bat get inside. And I think we were there most of the day and never found it.
That's a big house to be searching, even with the thermal and everything.
It was definitely trying. Yes, I'll just leave it there.
Right.
It was, but I will say this too for any of the viewers. If you have bats in your area or you have bats in your attic, it's always a safe bet before you put a pair of shoes on. You know, give them a little clang and shake upside down. Bats tend to, again, Daryl Drennan, Double D, my guy, his health department down in Edwardsville, Belleville area reached out to him and said they had 3 bat bites in a week and people were putting their shoes on.
Okay.
And then it wasn't probably a month after he told me that, a lady in Williamsville Township allows chickens and she has her little rubber boots. She was showing me on her back porch and she stuck her foot in there one morning and a bat bit her. So if anyone out there is bitten by a bat, we need it. We need to send it off to the public health department. They'll send it off, check its brain for the rabies virus, and then at least a little peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Still go forward with the rabies vaccination protocol, but I highly recommend. That's where some nuisance guys have been in trouble. They catch a bat. People say, well, I'm pretty sure it scratched or bit my kid or my aunt, my dog or my cat. And then they just throw it in a bag and get rid of it. That's a problem. So, but no, groundhogs and coons for sure are.
And I've seen both of those. I live in a subdivision in Springfield, and I've seen both of those in my backyard. The groundhog, they big mounds, don't they? If they burrow in, they kind of made a little mound in the corner of my yard. And then the raccoon, I've seen on my security camera every now and again. I'll see one walk across or hey, get off my deck. What are you doing there?
Absolutely, and they don't quit. So they're nocturnal. Groundhogs are not. Groundhogs are like most people. They go out and do their business during the day. They go in their den of an evening. A lot of people don't realize this, but a sophisticated den system, they dig down, they dig up slightly, back down in case we get a 4-inch rain, saves them from drowning them. Then once inside, they have their bedroom, a pantry, and their restroom. 3 different tunnels. So I think the longest I had a groundhog hole up on me, like this time of year, we don't even trap them. They go into a semi-hibernated state. If you get a warm day and the sun's out in January, February, you might see one come out and stretch his legs, but they take a lot of food into their den. People think of grizzly bears.
Right.
And very similar. Raccoons, same way. They'll get into an attic this time of year and just hunker down. It's supposed to warm up this Wednesday into the 40s, so the old telephone's going to start ringing because it's kind of funny. 90% of the time, whether the wife or the husband calls me, the wife always hears it and the husband always disregards her. You're just hearing stuff.
Yeah.
Gets a little more serious. My gosh, I think I hear it too. So it's comical.
Is there anything that attracts raccoons to your property?
Yes, you bird lovers out there, that is a very strong attractant.
Yeah. I think that's what got us, because my wife has all the bird feeders and all that stuff. She loves that stuff. So I think that's where that raccoon was coming for.
Yes, hummingbird feeders, sugar water, they're not particular eaters. They eat meat, they eat junk, they'll eat pretty much anything that they can find. That's just them. Uh, it's hard to tell someone, especially like an older person, get rid of your bird feeders.
Right,
I mean,
right.
they might have had them for 10 years and all of a sudden this raccoon shows up and something else. Everyone check your downspouts. So the downspouts are on the corner of your house. They come down, they go up, they 45, and then they tie into your gutter. If you have a bird's nest that innocent bird makes right there, that raccoon will climb up there to check it because they're egg eaters. And they're very destructive in the woodlands for turkey, ducks, geese. They eat their eggs. That's just what they do. Sadly, I have a doctor here from Springfield Clinic guy. I love him to death. Radiology, oncology. He lost 37 chickens, and they don't kill the chickens to eat. They kill for pleasure.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize that.
They're vicious. Now, minks and fox, they will kill to drag the chicken away and eat it or feed it to their young. But coons, nope, they just pleasure kill.
Yeah. Wow. No, you mentioned earlier that the wife normally hears it. This was the opposite, because I'd noticed that like some of the food or something was on the other side of the yard, or something was taken off there and it was pushed to the side yard. I'm like, I'm pretty sure something bigger is taking some of that and going and taking it with them and having some fun elsewhere. And I'm pretty sure we got an issue here. And then not too long after that, we saw the raccoon on the camera. I was like, that's the guy.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yeah. The question always comes up with customers, like, what do you do with them? So here's where it's sometimes an uncomfortable situation or conversation, I should say. I don't lie to my customers. And there's a caveat to that, and I'll get to it in a second.
Sure.
But we're licensed through IDNR, Department of Natural Resources. We have two options on a raccoon. We can release on the property we catch it, or we have to euthanize just because of the overpopulation factor. I have had a few customers who say, typically the male will say, I don't care what you do with it, but don't tell my wife. As far as she's concerned, it went out to the farm and living a happy life. What people don't understand, and our biologists tell us, if I catch a coon this afternoon and I take it out to New Salem State Park, which is illegal to do, but I release it, it only has a 30% chance of survival. And that's because when you're letting that raccoon go, it doesn't know food, water, shelter. There's already an established bloodline of raccoons in that area. And that raccoon that you release will have to fight every day for its survival. So kind of back to the law enforcement side of it, I might be sitting surveillance at a lot of street corners these days, sadly, and see folks pull up and give the homeless person on the corner $5 or $10 or $20 or whatever. That's not the right thing to do.
Right.
We've arrested those guys before for having warrants, and I'm a talker, so I'd ask them, like, what's your best day? What's your worst day? And they tell you they get enough to go buy their alcohol or their drugs. And it's actually a team effort. There's hot corners. There's not so hot corners. They switch in and out as they go. But it makes people's heart feel good, like they did something for that person.
Right.
If you want to help those folks, then give to the Salvation Army or a church.
Exactly.
That's would be my recommendation. It's kind of the same with the release of the raccoon. It warms people to say, oh, I caught Ricky the raccoon and let him go down at Centennial Park. And that's why you have him on the west side.
Yeah, exactly.
Rotary. I joke when I first started this, I should have been stick pinning or using technology to say, because if I went back, I would say a lot of my overpopulated areas are near the lake, the parks, because that's where people let them go. You're really killing that raccoon slowly. It's a horrible death. So it's sad, but again, when you have things that are overpopulated, things happen.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No, we were talking before. I grew up in Decatur, and where I grew up, there was a wooded area behind us, so there was raccoons all the time. And when I was in elementary school, I'd bring out the trash, and about every third or fourth time I'd open up the trash and a raccoon would jump out and scare the crap out of me. As a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid, and I didn't like raccoons too much.
Yes. Maybe this was set to happen, and I didn't realize it, but when I worked at the prison it's like its own little city. So at one point during my career there, I was in charge of taking out the garbage. I was the garbage truck driver. And we had trustees that we would take out back behind the prison. This would be at dark, so we had one light. I swear this is like something off Shawshank Redemption. And we'd back up to the dumpster, and these guys, we didn't have like an actual garbage truck. We had to hand throw bags into this compactor. Well, the coons would get down in there because Logan's surrounded by a state park. This old dim light, as soon as you'd hit the switch, it would dim it even more. And one night we're out there, and I wasn't expecting it either, but like 6 raccoons come shooting up out of this dumpster. Now, mind you, these boys are from Chicago. They had never seen raccoons up that close. You'd have thought somebody opened the gate at the zoo and the grizzlies were coming to get them.
Right.
They literally took off running. I'm yelling at them, stop. There's towers everywhere. They finally walked back and they're like, what was that? Those were raccoons. And then off in the distance, you'd hear cow mooing. Yeah, city boys were fun to mess with.
Oh, I bet.
Out in the country, for
That's
sure.
funny.
But yeah.
Well, speaking of out in the country around here, so if you're in a more rural setting, what are you typically finding out there? What are you getting calls for?
Again, the pesky raccoon. They
The raccoons, yeah.
get up in the farmers' combines, in their barns, possums, and had to take a test to become licensed. And honestly, this part of it just kind of went past me. And I was talking to a farmer one day, and he said, "What is it you do with your possums?" Now we can release possums. Again, it has to be on the property, or if we have a property, we can remove them. Anyway, he says, "Well, you better be killing them all." I was like, "Why? What's your hate for possums?" And he said, "They killed 3 of my horses." And I was like, "How would a little possum kill your horse?" Well, sure as the world, and I should have researched it for this, but it's a word about that long. If they do their business on the hay and the horse eats the hay with fecal matter, there's a organism that attacks their spinal cord and actually kill the horse.
Wow.
Yes.
No idea. I bet he was like, yeah, kill every single one of those.
Yes. I had the contract at the Illinois State Fairgrounds for a couple years, and it's like any other state-ran organization. The state, not so concerned with things all the time, but when you have a $250,000, $350,000 show horse and he steps off into a groundhog hole and breaks his ankle,
right,
there's problems.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yes. So I could pretty much set my calendar by the horse shows and the cattle shows. When they were coming to town, I would get a call. "Hey, we need to come out to B barn or barn 13 or barn whatever, because we got a show coming and there's some groundhogs messing around." Another time there was the equestrian show was happening.
All the jumps and all the stuff. Yeah.
A young 13-year-old girl looked up and there was a raccoon, and he was shimmying himself like a ninja across the I-beam.
Oh, wow.
Above her head. And I guess her mom had a big issue with that, obviously. So we were called out there. Another problem with, and again, I'm all for a DIYer. I try to do a lot of things around the house myself because it's very costly. But when you do catch that animal and you do release it, which you're not supposed to, but I know it happens, you make that animal cage smart. They know what that cage is, and then that just makes our job that much more difficult. We do have some other types of traps we use when that is the situation, but again, we try not to bait. We try to do what's called a direct or positive set. So if I come to your house, say that raccoon you saw, it made his way under your deck. We have a trapping system that's 2 doors. It's got a nose cone. We slam it right over the hole. So I tell people it'd be like me catching you. I'm going to just set a trap over your garage door, and when you back out, I catch you, or you pull in, I catch you.
Right.
No bait required, because when you bait, then I'm calling in animals that may not be our target, and it's costing you money. So I'm very transparent with my customer base. I'm upfront with people. I like to give them the closest I can to the price it's going to be. Baby season, when that comes around, which is in the spring, typically last 2 years, we've had our first litters of raccoons second week of March to the first week of April. That will go all the way through July. That first year, and again, I'm bringing Daryl up. I'll never forget, I called him and he said, "What's the matter, buddy? You sound stressed." I said, "When does this stop?" like these baby raccoons are going to be the death of me. Because what we do, we catch mama first. You have to. You cannot go into an attic and take a chance on. She will defend those babies like any mom would. And so we catch mom with a direct set, typically a soffit or roof entry. Once we catch her, then we go in, look for the babies. A lot of times they have them in the craziest places, up under bathtubs, behind bathtubs. They know those are safe places. Down in chimneys, on top of the fireplaces. Sometimes they make their way down into an interior wall, which then requires us to start cutting holes in drywall.
Yeah.
I hate to tell someone who lives in any home for that matter, but, very few have plaster these days, but there are some in the Leland Grove, Washington Park area. It's really hard to find a plaster repair company.
Yeah.
It's just a trade that's not really around
like I said,
anymore.
people just don't do it anymore. So
yeah, not at all. So it becomes stressful, and you're pulling out 1 to 6 baby raccoons. And yes, we do have to euthanize those as well. Sometimes I went so far as to let the people, there's rehabbers out there, and the problem is they fill up literally like that. So maybe that first week or two of baby season, there's that opportunity. But after that, they won't answer their phone because they're just full. They can't do anymore. But I commend them for trying.
Do you do anything with like mice or rats, or is that more the exterminator? You even mess with that type of stuff?
We don't. If I'm there and the person has a mouse problem, I may offer some bait for them. But no, we as the community have Sentinel, Sonny Adams, Fidelis, Bacons. Those guys have been great to me. They always refer me out for their pest control, so I always try to do a favor back and get them the mice, the rats. And rats are very smart. We were at a house over on West Edwards Street, and it was for sale, and the people thought they had squirrels. And sure enough, there was holes in the fascia. Animals will attack wood rot. So squirrels specifically up high, they smell that wood rot. They'll get in there, and they want to have their babies in a safe place too. So Ryan's with me that day, and it's one of those older homes where they got it's a livable attic, but then you got the little door that opens up and you can crawl around back there.
Yeah.
So Ryan, and just to say this, Ryan has no fear, like none. Heights, tight places, animals, nothing. There's nothing that dude is afraid of. I'm not so much a heights guy, so that's where he comes in very handy. But he crawls back in there, and I hear him say, "Well, it's not a squirrel." I was like, well, what do you got? I got a big rat staring at me in the face right now. I'm coming. I never heard a man crawl so fast.
I'm out.
Exactly. So the gentleman was there, and he's like, a rat. He's like, I'm showing this house for sale by owner or whatever. I said, well, we'll try to help you out. I literally would set cameras up, and they would come to my traps and just look at them and just walk the other way. It was terrible. We spent 2 weeks battling this thing and finally got him. Finally. I told Ryan, like, this is why we don't do rats. It was terrible.
Wow.
Yes. No, I'll stick to the hairy animals, if you will, for sure.
You ever do any, preventative type stuff for anybody where you check out their property and say, hey, this is some issues you might have before they have to call you and say, hey, I've got 3 raccoons in my attic?
That's a great point, and I preach that. I put it out on social media. We do inspections. They're not free. We do charge. Depends if we have to get in on the roof or in the attic. It's a little more expensive. My pricing works off level of difficulty, level of safety.
Yeah.
The higher we climb, the more it costs. But yes, so if I come to your house, and typically raccoons especially will be where the roof meets soffit. Roof soffit return is what we call them. The guys, when they're building, nobody uses a hammer these days. Obviously, it's all pneumatic or battery this day and age. Well, that gun's so big, they can't get into that crevice. And as the raccoon's on the ground and he looks up, that looks like a hole to him. It's a dark shadow. So he'll get up there, climb said downspout on the roof like a ninja up the shingles. And then once he gets to that point, it's either a flapper or it's gapped. And raccoons have thumbs, so they will put their little paws up under there, and they have all night to manipulate, and they'll eventually rip it open. And then once they're in your soffits, then they can get it off into your attics. So yes, we tell people, especially September, October, and we'll run a special like, hey, have us come out. We're going to consult with you.
Yeah.
We find said areas, we'll either give you the opportunity for us to fix it, or you can try, if you have your own handyman, by all means, call the guy. And again, that's where I don't do this to feed my family. I'm blessed. I have a pension, so I have no issue telling someone a shortcut, if you will, to help them save some money. But yeah, no, that's a great question. Roof soffit returns is huge. If anybody still has the old school, remember as a kid, you had the saucer sleds. So if you ever drive and look up on somebody's roof and you see something that looks like that, that's a vent. And sadly, those are very easily compromised. Squirrels and raccoons get up under there. So we do install cages that go over the top. Occasionally, I'd say on average about 3 times a year, will a raccoon just dig straight through the shingle, straight through the OSB, and straight into the attic.
Really?
Yes. And here's why. And again, this is kind of a hard sell because it is very expensive. Say you've had a raccoon in your attic. Well, here's a perfect example. I had a gentleman over in Scarborough Place. All 3 of his children were off at medical school. Him and his wife lived downstairs. Beautiful giant house, but they had raccoons, I would venture to say, for probably 2 years and didn't know it. Well, there's a lot of fecal matter, a lot of urine. Long story short, with the size, square footage of the insulation that had to be taken out, everything remediated and then put back, it was about $48,000.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
We will go in and do inspections to say, listen, you have a lot of fecal matter up here. As raccoon gets up there and he's walking past said vent or ridge vent or anything that allows your attic to breathe, they smell that. To them, that's, hey, there's been another raccoon family living here.
Yeah.
Must be cool. Let's go check it out. Then they're inside. So a lot of people don't pay for the cleanup. We do very small remediation. Raccoons are related to the cat family. So if you think of a cat with a litter box, raccoons, if they're up in an attic for a short amount of time, they will stay relatively in a 4x4, 6x6 area for a bit to do their business. Then if babies are there, then it gets to be all over the place. And that's when it's really a problem. I will say this for people, if you hear some baby chatter, if you're not sure what that sounds like, you can YouTube it, but it's way easier for us and way more cost effective if you let us get on them when they're maybe just barely have their eyes open. When they become adolescents and teenagers and they can run from us, it's miserable.
I bet.
It's July, it's an attic. So right there, you can already imagine by noon, it's 120 degrees up there. They don't care. A lot of times we're in respirators. It's just miserable. And my son actually got really good at this. We'll play raccoon noises on our phones, and you can almost get them to you. But then all of a sudden, like any kid or animal, see ya.
Oh, I'm gone.
Yes. And you watch him run all the way to the other side of that attic as far as he can go. And then you're on your hands and knees, obviously, trying to get to him. We use dip nets, snake tongs, pretty much anything you can think of to try. We've tried nets. It's hard to get a good toss on something when you're
when you're all
in there.
tighten in there. Yeah.
And I'm not a small man, I'm 6'1", 230, depends on what time of year.
Sure.
Anywhere from 215 to 240. How's that? But it can be brutal, to say the least.
So is that mostly what people hear, like that chatter or scratching up in the attic? Is that mostly what you're hearing?
Yes. I would say a couple different things. This time of year, they're getting ready to breed. So the last couple of weeks, the calls have been, hey, I hear something heavy in the attic, and then I hear a thump, 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 thump. Well, they have fleas, and they're up there scratching
away. So then, yeah,
and it's thumping. Usually when fall harvest comes into play, I get a ton of calls for scratching in attics, and they're absolutely convinced themselves they have a raccoon. And that time of year, I would say if I get 10 calls, 7 of them are mice. So we'll refer them out to one of the companies I mentioned, or we always look for, and I would recommend any homeowner to do this, tracks, hair, feces, and entry points.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, well, aren't you going to set a trap in the attic, or aren't you going to go in the attic? Well, I don't necessarily have to, because if there's no way they're getting in, then you don't have one up there.
Mm-hmm.
But we always do what the customer asks. So it's typically pop open the lid, get up there, and then you find the mice, feces, and it's amazing to me, maybe just because I'm more of a mechanical guy, I guess, but I'm in my attic occasionally.
Yeah.
Some folks I talk to never
even poke their head up there. Yeah.
No. So what a mouse will do in this new cellulose blown insulation, imagine a broom, and then you flip it upside down with the handle and just poke holes. Well, that's the mouse hole. And if you look close, you can just see an indentation where that's their trail, and they'll basically run from hole to hole to hole and all over the attic. I've had a few people tell me, I don't have mice, a little snooty, if you will.
Mhm.
Like, I could take you up there. I took pictures on my phone. Like, I promise you don't have a squirrel or a raccoon. You do have mice. Well, I've never seen one downstairs. I get that a lot. Obviously, you don't have to. They go out to eat, and then they come back because that's a warm, inviting place for them. Well, how are they getting in? Same way with the bat. They need a very small gap. Climb up the gutter, climb up the corner bead of the siding, the vinyl siding. Once they're up high enough, then they just find their way, and it takes a very small hole. So, yeah, it's definitely been interesting. And that's why I love to do this. I've met Arvin. He's the beekeeper for all of Central Illinois.
Okay, yeah.
He's an inspector. He does beehives. Old hippie, if you will. Great guy to talk to. I met the guy that was in charge of the FBI for the Springfield area. They have a horse farm. He's since retired. But yeah, just met some really, really cool people. And same with the networking group. Met you, Jeff, so many, Big Dog, Creasy. I mean, so many different companies that just knock it out of the park. Jared Brailer is actually my wife's cousin.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Jared's been on the show, and he's done some work for my son, some concrete work, and love that kid. Love his hard charging efforts. Like he's full of spunk.
That's for
sure.
Yeah. Now you mentioned beekeeping. We tried that this year for the first time. My younger daughter wanted to try it. My wife wanted to try it too. So it was all going great for most of the year, but then I guess we lost a queen. And then I guess there's something called robber bees, to where they came and ate all the honey that was in there.
Wow.
Yeah. So the guy that was helping us, they went through a class and took a class from a guy, and he was helping out, kind of coming over and showing them how to do things at different stages. And he came over one day and said, "Oh, you got 90 pounds of honey in there." 90 pounds.
Wow.
That's a ton of honey. Let's go. All right. It's going to be a good harvest, whatever. And then he came back about a month and a half later, and he says, unfortunately, looks like we've lost a queen, and the robber bees came in and they ate all the honey. So it's gone.
90 pounds?
90 pounds of honey. So it's like all gone. I was like, we lost 90 pounds of honey in a month and a half. But I just don't know the processes, and I guess that's what happens.
Are you going to try again?
Yeah, we'll try again next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, they had fun with it. I mean, my daughter got the whole beekeeping suit and everything, and she enjoyed it. So,
well, good to know. Steve Lockwood, who's in our group.
Yeah.
Steve's a bee guy.
Okay.
Anytime I get calls for wasps, hornets, bees, a lot of times, since I know Steve's went to get a couple, I don't even know what you call a gaggle of bees.
Yeah, I don't know.
But he'll take them to either his place or if he knows somebody else. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Might reach out to Steve and he might have some bees for you.
Yeah. All right. So have you ever been called out and all of a sudden it's something completely different than what you thought? Any, like, I don't know if you want to say rare, but anytime you've gone out to trap something and you got something that's not supposed to be around here or surprised you?
Had one, this is an interesting story, and I love to tell it at our meeting. So I'm the secretary, the invoicer, like I pretty much do it all. And Ryan, I direct him when it's time. So anyway, I get this call from this gentleman. He's on a construction site out at Lake Springfield, and sound like a younger kid. And he calls me and he's like in his surfer voice, "Hey bro." I'm like, "Yeah, this is Keith. What can I do for you?" He's like, do you guys do snakes?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we actually do snakes." He said, like, "I'm talking, bro, like big snakes." I'm like, and again, most people, a 2-foot black
right, that's
snake
a big giant snake to it, right?
Absolutely. So I said, yeah, man. I mean, yeah, how big you talking? Bro, I'm talking like 10 feet. I'm like, a 10-foot snake? He goes, listen, before you think or say anything, I'm doing no shrooms today.
All right.
This is getting out here a little bit. I'm
Right.
like, so where is this 10-foot snake? And he gives me the street he's on. So now, my mind's turning. I'm like, okay, well, who's going to pay for this? If we come out and get this snake, because I don't really know what we're going to do with it yet, who's going to pay the bill? Well, bro, I don't know. Like, I see all these construction guys and they're gathered around, and I think they finally got it into this big trash container. I was like, okay, well, let me get a hold of my guy. Ryan's my snake guy.
Yeah.
I said, and we'll be out. He's like, all right, man, sounds good. Wait, hold on. Bro, there's somebody walking up now with like a giant pillowcase, and they've got this thing, and they're putting it in. I guess I don't need you. Somebody took care of it. All right, man, thanks for calling.
Appreciate it, man.
I can't wait to talk to Ryan and tell him this either made up story or not.
Right.
So about an hour goes by, and he calls to check in with me. And I said, dude, you're not going to believe this story. And he goes, let me guess, 10-foot boa? I said, how did you know it was a 10-foot snake? He's like, because I got it.
I'm the one with the pillowcase.
Yes. What are the chances?
Wow.
So where he's working that day, he was out there and he was close, and he sees all this commotion, and he walked over there, and yeah, I got some pictures on my phone. I'll
That's
have to
crazy.
share to your page. But yeah, man, this thing was like either 9'6" or 10'6" feet long. I can't remember. And we called the zoo. Too big for them. They didn't want it. Our thought process is somebody had it as a pet.
Yeah,
and
that's what I would think.
got
Yeah.
too big, and they thought they could let it go. That would have killed a young dog, a pup, or maybe even a young child. And not because it would hunt them, but just because it was hungry.
Right.
So Ryan being Ryan, he took it home. He bathed it. He stopped by the pet store, got him a couple rats, and then called a snake rehabber, and was able to hopefully it's living its best life somewhere. I didn't follow up with it, but that was a pretty good story.
That's crazy. He just happened to be there, right?
I know. And I wouldn't have believed it, but he actually had one of the guys there shoot a video of him pulling it up, and this thing just kept coming and coming. I'm not a heights guy, and I'll deal with snakes as long as I got my gloves and my tongs and I can get them in a bag. Yeah, he'll handle anything.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was probably the most out there call I guess we've had.
That's funny.
Yeah, we had a raccoon lady called, and she's like, I keep hearing all this commotion. She was homebound, if you will, older lady, I'm guessing in her 80s, kind of over here off North Grand. She's like, I know there's a raccoon back there. I hear it every night, and it comes in at dark. And we're like, okay, ma'am. So we get over there and talking to her at her side door, and she's like, she had kind of a back porch area. She's like, now, I didn't hear it last night, but I heard it the night before. I said, all right, well, I'm going to just go on your porch and see if there's an access point. Open her back porch. Homeless man had taken up shelter on her back porch.
Wow. Okay.
So it wasn't a raccoon.
Right.
He wasn't there when we opened the door, thankfully. But all of his stuff, his sleeping bag, he had a shopping cart back there, cooking utensils like he was camping. And I hated to tell this lady, like I knew she was going to freak out. It was a rental. While I was talking to her, I called the rental company that hired us, and I told them, listen, you guys don't have a raccoon, you have a person. I said, I'm going to take everything out of here and put it in a nice pile for the person. I said, and then I'm going to secure this door shut with screws, but you guys probably need to get over here and like legit secure this. Because, and she had heard it for weeks.
Yeah, so he'd been, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah. Only have been crazy if I'd opened the door.
Right, and he would have been right there, yeah.
Hello.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked a lot of business stuff. Let's flip to the personal side. What do you do to elevate your life personally?
Well, I work out daily. I'm very routine, I guess, best way to put it. I'm up at, alarms goes off at 5. I'm typically up at 5:30. I have a garage gym, if you will. I was very into CrossFit for a lot of years, but I kept injuring myself. Just at that point in my lifting career, I had a workout partner, and it was great, but it was also, I think I hurt myself because my form would get poor trying to do more pull-ups, and I finally just had to stop. Like it was, was having to have surgeries and it wasn't good. So, but I still work out 5-6 days a week. I feel like if I can get up and get the day started with that, opens my mind, and it's a great stress relief.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Clearly you work
Favorite
out
thing to
as
do
well.
every morning.
Exactly. So having that routine, come in, prepare my protein drink after the workout, go back to my office there in the house, and which that too is when I came up here, I was like, this would be great. Like, because when you're at home, things tend to draw your attention away from the business, if you will. So I try really hard to stay focused. I try to prepare the night before and then have a game plan for that next day. Of course, somebody will call with an emergency and get curveball thrown. But no, that, and I would say networking just like this. Thank you, for offering to have me here today, for starters. Just meeting people and talking to people. And that would probably be my biggest issue, is getting my name out there. The big three, the T, the O, and the CC in my world, they have a lot of the algorithms figured out. I'm not a techie guy. Again, born in 1971, as compared to some of you younger generation people. But I'm getting ready to revamp my webpage. Getting in, and Ben Taylor, actually, funny story, not to get off subject, but I'm pushing the shopping cart around Sam's, and me and Ben practically run into each other, and spent like an hour and a half there in the store just talking shop and life. And he actually brought to my attention this AEO stuff. With so many young people today don't type into Google, they just talk into their phone. Hey, I need a raccoon removed in an attic from Springfield, Illinois. I guess the SEO and the AEO weren't tying together, so Ben turned me on to this. I called my guy Mark, Web One, and he's like, crazy that you called. We literally just started ramping this up. So man, come on by. So I'm in the midst of getting my new webpage up and going with an AI operator, because again, I'm the secretary that answers the phone.
That's going to be huge, having the AI operator like that. And the AEO, compared to SEO, it's great because you're looking to be the answer rather than just to be on the search. So that's exactly what you said is happening. People are putting into Chat GPT, hey, who do I call for I got a raccoon in my attic, who do I call?
Yes.
And we want you to be the answer for that rather than them having to search up that and be a result.
So again, to reiterate, had I not met Ben, because I had no idea who the man was until I met him at my table one day. We'd have just crossed paths, and I'd have never even thought of AEO. So again, it's just been such a blessing, but always trying to find ways to get my name out there. Newspapers are kind of old school, if you will, at this point. Social media I'm Facebook, Instagram, just got on TikTok. It's a whirlwind. It's a lot for an old brain to try to.
Just got to keep on posting, man. Just keep on going.
Exactly right. I mean, exactly right. And sometimes I get down about it a little bit, like, oh man, I only got 12 likes, or only 37 people watch this.
Right.
And then other times, something that I think won't amount to anything will have 3,000
one
views.
That blows up.
Yeah. It's I can't figure it out, and there's really probably no point in me trying to figure it out.
No, but I mean, consistency is key with that, though. If you consistently keep showing up on there, whether it gets 5 likes or 5,000 likes, people are noticing your stuff when you are consistent on there.
And that is great advice. And I didn't realize that at first, but again, in meeting people like yourself and Ben and other folks like preaching that to me, I'm understanding it. And it's tough sometimes, and my son makes fun of me because I'm a Chat GPT guy. And I'll say sometimes like, hey, Chat, give me some content for today, just because I'm so busy with life and the house and whatever, that stuff gets away from you. So lo and behold, it'll come up with something cool.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
I'll post it out there, and here we go. So yeah, it's been an experience for sure.
Well, I'll be able to help out with that because you're going to get quite a few clips here. I'm going to be posting you like crazy. So
awesome.
I'll have tons of clips, and then you can repost those for eternity, however long you want to post.
I love it, man. This is all, it's not new, but it's new to me. Because, prior to having the business, like I didn't even have social media.
Mhm.
Like I was honestly kind of against it. I always said it would be the downfall of the world.
Right.
Because people just, the things they do and say and post out there are just mind-numbing to
Yeah.
me sometimes. But I take everything back to, I made a post one day, like, it costs nothing to be kind,
Right.
to humble yourself. Like, with this weather, you see somebody, car won't start or stuck in a ditch, do what you can to just lend a hand. That's really a lot of time what people need. There was a guy that when I first started this, it was so hard for me to find people that were in the construction trade that I could A, get to show up, and B, do decent work. And I had this gentleman, and didn't really know him all too well. And I reached out to him. We became friends, and I flipped a couple houses. That's how I put our son through college.
Yeah.
And we it was an in-between time when we weren't really doing anything. This time of year, we're not as busy as we typically are. And started getting a little bit busy. And I reached out to him one day. I said, "Hey, Aaron, I haven't heard from you in a bit, just checking in. Gonna get busy here soon." And he called me later that afternoon, and he's like, why did you reach out today? And I was like, I don't know, man. He just popped in my head. And he proceeds to tell me how he was really down. His ex was keeping him from his kid, and he was going to kill himself.
Oh, man.
Literally that day.
Wow.
Right before I called. And man, it really touched me. Like, he's like, "Bro, you saved my life." He's like, "If you hadn't called," he's like, "you kind of redirected me, if you will." So
that had to absolutely hit you.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Can't imagine.
It was heavy. We've had our issues since that time. He actually just lost his girlfriend of years and years and years yesterday. So I just reached out to him again this morning, and I hadn't talked to him for a while. And same old guy. It's like you have those people in your life when you can maybe not talk to for whether it's 6 days or 6 months.
Right.
And you just pick up
exactly where you were.
Exactly. So that's a friend. So
Yeah.
I hope, and I wished him well. My phone's been going off a little bit while we're sitting here, so guessing it's probably him. But yeah, man, that was something.
Wow.
People, a lot of times I've had numerous people throughout my career with whether the Marshall corrections, like I'm very shy. I mean, most people don't think that's the case. And once you get to know me and I open up to you, I keep a small circle, but I can sometimes come off as maybe I've been told arrogant. I've been told cocky. I like to think of it as confident.
Sure.
And I had to be that way. I was still going to school and started with corrections at 20 years old, 21. You're sitting on a housing unit with 186 convicted felons. And, I'll just speak bluntly. We didn't have black people in my town.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the majority of what I'm dealing with.
Right.
And it was intimidating for a young dude. So I had to figure out some things pretty quick.
Right.
So I learned how to talk fast. And then I feel like it helped me, even to this day, I can go to the east side into a $10,000 shack and help that person.
Right.
Just as easy as I can a $2.5 million home on Lake Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can relate to both of those people. And to me, that makes me feel good. Like,
no doubt about it. Absolutely. Now, you mentioned the social stuff a minute ago, how you kind of got into it later. I didn't have a personal Facebook page until I was like 39 years old. I didn't do it at a young age at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it for some other entities that I was doing, but I didn't do a person. For as active as I am now on all my social channels, I didn't have a personal Facebook until I was like 39 years old.
Isn't it crazy?
It is.
Man, it can serve such a purpose. Like this, the perfect example. People that lose their animals, their dogs, or their pets, or if you need to sell something. Right. I don't like when people put their whole life out there, woe is me, right. Or, they're fishing. Say a prayer, what am I saying a prayer for? I'll come to your house. We'll sit down and talk about it.
Right.
But that whole nonsense part of it, I wish it was a different angle, but to each their own.
Well, Keith, so much great stuff today. I like to close with these last couple of things. Let's give the audience a piece of advice, one on the professional side and one on the personal side, something to help them elevate their life or business.
They kind of go hand in hand, honestly, for me. So on the professional side, and I tell my son this all the time, people have become lazy. People don't mow their own yard. People don't plow their own snow, push their own sidewalks. People, shoot, they don't even go pick up their own meals. Like, if you have gumption and you're a hard charger, sky's the limit. You can be whoever. You can make as much money as you. Again, I'll come back to Jared a little bit. You know, when I watch his posts and I watch him work and out there plowing snow and doing this thing, like, that kid's going places. I like that. That drives me when I see somebody else pushing like that. And I try to always send him a flexed arm or something just to say, hey, man, keep going, you know, keep going. And I would say the same on a personal level. It's easy, and we all fall into this. I was telling you before I come up here, you know, my dad just got out of the hospital. My mom has Alzheimer's, and I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but it's real easy to get up and sit in front of your phone or basically just veg. And I think we all need to do that occasionally, but I'm all about structure and I'm all about routine. Again, to reflect back to the prison days, I met some really incredible people in there that are convicted felons. But if you give them structure, if you tell them, hey, this is when you eat. Hey, this is when you go to the grocery store. Hey, this is when you go to the doctor. They're productive. Like, they're very productive. They're very, very intelligent. But if you don't have that and you don't have the ability to do that for yourself, man, it's easy to sit down in front of a computer, sit down in front of a phone, and the next thing you know, it's 3:00.
Right.
Man, where did those 7 hours go? I accomplished absolutely nothing.
Yep.
So I'm also big about lists. Like, again, some folks can get on their phone and have that app to do it. Man, if we went down and looked in my vehicle right now, I have notes, notebooks, because I'm old school, and that's just how I do things. But just be a hard charger. It's limitless. You can go wherever you want to go, whenever you want to go there.
No doubt about it. I second that. And is there anything we can do community-wide to help all of us here elevate Springfield and the surrounding communities?
A couple things I see, and I'm a little biased, obviously, coming from a law enforcement background and my son coming up into one, like, just stop. You know, why do we have to continue to shoot each other up? You know, a couple pretty big mass shootings over the weekend. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And then people hate the police for some of the craziest reasons. I wish we could just all get together and be on the same page, whether it's policing, whether it's community development, whether it's, you know, there's a lot of kids out there, you know this, that need a coat or that need a toy. I guess I don't understand why, just because it's December, we want to be giving and helpful. We should do that in July.
All year long. Yeah.
March. So that would be my advice. Let's get together as a community and help each other. We'll just keep trying, I guess. That's all we can do. I wish I had the answer, you know, and I say that a lot of times. I'll get on like a 217 problems page or something, and people will be going on about issues maybe on the east side or whatever. It's not going to fix itself.
Right.
We have to do it as a community. And I don't even live in the Springfield community, but I'm here every day, and this is where my people are. You know, this is where my customer base is. So anything I could do, hey, 217-741-8895. Call me anytime if I can help. If I can't, I tell people this all the time. Man, I'll reach to you. I'll reach to Jeff. I'll reach to Jared. Somebody's going to know somebody that knows who you need to help. So
let's go. Well, Keith, if somebody wants to do some business with you, where would they go?
Well, you can go to my Facebook page, 217 Nuisance Wildlife Control. You can reach us at 217-741-8895. I'll still answer for now.
For now, yeah.
Hopefully in the very near future, you'll get an AI operator to brighten your day for you. Those are the two easiest ways. I'd also have 217wildlife.com as my webpage. Reach out if you hear a scratch or a bump in the night, or we'll come over and see what we can figure out for you and hopefully get you house secure and animal free.
There you go. Well, appreciate you coming down and hanging out with me today.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Well, we're going to let Keith get back to elevating Springfield. But for the rest of y'all, we'll be right back.
Looking for expert tree care with hometown integrity? Look no further than Sangamon Tree Service. They're your trusted local pros, delivering quality workmanship, exceptional customer service, and fair, honest pricing every time. Whether it's trimming, removal, or storm cleanup, their team brings professionalism and care to every job, big or small. Call the name your neighbors trust, Sangamon Tree Service, or visit them today at sangamontreeservice.com. Sangamon Tree Service, rooted in quality, built on trust.
All right, let's go, Keith. Phenomenal stuff, right? So many cool stories from what he's had throughout his career, both in his law enforcement career and his nuisance wildlife control career. So much cool stuff today, and a lot of 10X stuff in there as well. Hey, before we go too far, I do want to thank our friends over at Acosta Angeli Roofing, your local neighborhood roofing pros. Whether you need just a little repair or a full replacement, the entire team over at Acosta Angeli, Juan, Tony, Zach, they will take good care of you. Whether it's residential or commercial, give them a shout for any of your roofing needs. Hey, I'm going to keep my remarks brief today, but some of the things Keith was talking about, one of his pieces of advice was being a hard charger. Man, if that's not the essence of some of the 10X stuff, I don't know what is, man. It is all about being a hard charger, continuing to push, being that one that continues to go, that's persistent, that's going after those massive goals that you have set for yourself by now. So, hey, I completely second that. Be a hard charger. He also talked about the power of networking, about having that success group around you. We've talked extensively about that, and in this particular case, how he has used the Land of Lincoln Professional Networking Group as a referral base. He talked about how many times he's been able to refer other folks from the group to people that he's worked with, to his clients, and how much of a great job and the phenomenal work that they have done. Said they've all had rave reviews as well. So, hey, if you haven't taken stock of who is around you, if you have that success core group around you, if you don't have that yet, make sure you are looking at that and getting that success group around you, whether that's a mastermind group, whether that's joining one of the networking groups that we talk about a lot, whatever. Get that core group of people around you that is striving for success as well. Hey, if you want to join Land of Lincoln Professional Networking Group or Local First Springfield, just head over to either one of those websites to get that information. We would love to have you. So, hey, don't forget, you hear some of those noises in that attic, you hear some of that scratching, give Keith a shout. We'll be right back with more after the break.
When I first walked into Shudokan Karate Club, I was just looking for a way to get stronger, but what I found was so much more. Here we train in traditional karate, the real stuff, passed down through generations. Every punch, every kata has purpose. I've learned self-discipline, confidence, and how to protect myself. Not just in class, but in real life. It's not about being aggressive, it's about being prepared. This is more than a club, it's a way of life. Join us at Shudokan, traditional, powerful, real. Ki-ai!
Well, thank you for joining us today, everybody. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Hey, don't forget, while you're out on social, check ours out. You can check my personal one out at Robert Farrell, at everywhere. Check out those Elevate Springfield pages, those Big Dog Business Coaching pages as well. Check us out over on YouTube. Give us a subscribe, give us a like or a follow on any of those channels. We would certainly appreciate it. So, hey, take what you learned today. You bring the discipline and follow through, and together, that's right, y'all, we're going to elevate Springfield. Be great.
Looking for personalized insurance with hometown care? David Hilst, American Family Insurance Agents, here to help you protect what matters most: your family, your home, and your dreams. Whether it's auto, home, life, business, David and his team are proud to serve the Springfield community with trusted advice and reliable coverage. Local service, real relationships, peace of mind. Call today or stop by their office. They can build your dream protection plan together. Call 217-726-6333 4-3